So I grew up, most of my growing up years were spent in Beatrice, Nebraska, so about 45 miles down Highway 77. And then when I was 18, I thought Nebraska was just about the worst place ever. Couldn't wait to get out, so left for about 15 years to kind of travel all over, did school. Ended up coming back for fellowship for 2 years and did that over in CB3 on the east side of the stadium, and got to work a little bit in athletics and realized that I missed Nebraska and I really liked being back. So when I finished fellowship, I wasn't able to find a job in my field here, so I had to move to South Dakota for a few years and got to work in a hospital up there, which was a great experience. But then when this job came available in athletics, I jumped all over that and was really excited to come back. A neuropsychologist measures the way a person's brain works and functions. So again, some of the common sort of areas, we call them domains of cognitive function, that a neuropsychologist looks at are attention, processing speed, or how quickly you can think, learning, memory, intellectual functioning, so IQ is sort of the typical nomenclature for that. And then we take that in the context of the person's emotional functioning and how they're sleeping and how their family is working and if they've got a bunch of stress in life. And we take all of that data and sort of combine that into one big picture of, we call it conceptualization. So how I understand how this person is working and how they're functioning in daily life. There's a few specific groups. So one, if somebody gets a concussion, they're probably going to get to come see me because a concussion is a short-term change in how the brain works. So my expertise in measuring how your brain is working comes in really handy in managing concussion. Some of the other athlete groups that I see regularly are athletes that have either ADHD or ADD or any sort of like learning difficulty. So difficulty with reading, difficulty with math, that sort of thing. And then my job is to, again, sort of measure how those different functions, cognitive functions, are working. And then if it's appropriate, give the person a diagnosis so that we can get them academic accommodations if that would be helpful. If it's a case of ADHD or ADD, consider medication management. And yeah, hopefully sort of give them the best possible experience as a student here at UNL, as well as a student athlete, right? Like, I think sometimes we get fixated on, say a learning disability only affects someone's ability to learn, but we learn in every area of our life, right? As new athletes coming in, all of a sudden you may need to learn an entirely new playbook. And if learning is difficult for you, that's going to affect not only your student performance, but also your athletic performance. So hopefully we can provide really good sort of wraparound care that hits all the different areas of functioning for our student athletes. When I was 18, I decided I was going to work at camp in the summer at a ranch out in Wyoming that had this camp facility on it. So I show up and they tell me that I'm going to run the high ropes course. And I'm terrified of heights, but I also am a fairly non-assertive 18-year-old. So rather than saying I'm terrified of heights, I don't want to do this, I was like, okay, sounds good. So I had to go out, and this was a lot of years ago, and insurance would probably not cover this anymore, but to set up the high ropes course every day, I had to crawl up without any sort of harness or belay on, because I crawled up to the top, set up the ropes, and then drop the ropes down, and I would like belay down. And it was terrifying for me. I remember getting to the top and being like, I don't remember anything of that. Like, I was so freaked out that I was like physically doing it, but mentally and emotionally like completely checked out. So anyways, I survived. I never fell off. I'm still scared of heights, but when I see a ropes course now, I'm like, I want to go do that. Like, that looks fun. How did I get through that? I think my brain just checked out. It was just too overwhelmed by everything that was happening. And so it just stopped working. And then eventually I kind of got used to it. I stopped like getting so like freaked out by the whole thing, and then eventually like my brain came back online, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this, and this is kind of cool. Pushing myself to be the best I can be and the best version of myself, but again, also giving myself grace when I fall short, or when, you know, I only give 80%, but realize that that 20% that I didn't give to whatever I was doing in front of me went somewhere else, right? I also have cats, which I get no end of grief for. I have 2 cats. My family says I'm 1 cat away from being a crazy cat lady, which I feel like I should just embrace it at this point. I have a mug with my cats on them. So I guess maybe that's probably also part of self-care is just embracing the fact that my cats are awesome. Having, you know, things that get excited when you walk in the door every night is really great. But, you know, they also sleep through the night, and they don't require like the emotional energy of children. So I feel like it's perfect for me. Latest adventure in life is that I joined the National Guard, so I will be leaving for several months, starting in October, and I am so excited. I'm old enough that I had to get an age waiver to join, which is kind of funny, I guess, but I joined and I'm training and I'm super excited, and I know there will be a ropes course when I get to basic training, so I'm sort of glad that I had that experience now, because I'm pretty sure otherwise I would just like freeze and not be able to do it. So anyways, I think it'll be a challenge, and I'm sure there will be times in the middle of it where I will question my life choices that got me there, but I think overall it's going to be super, super fun.